You want to know something funny? I'm 102 years old, and somehow the government still sends me a pension every month. I like to think of it as my longest running heist. Very slow, very polite, no ski mask required. They say age is just a number. In my case, it's a very large number, but still just a number. And yes, I'm still here, still thinking, still learning. A little bourbon helps sometimes, just a little. Unfortunately, it's not covered by the National Healthcare Program. I checked, but jokes aside, when you live this long, you stop pretending you don't know the truth. You stop lying to yourself about what really matters. And you definitely stop saving things for someday. Because at 102, you learn something most people don't want to hear yet. Time is not patient. And life doesn't wait for perfect timing. I look around my room and I see it everywhere. Things I don't need anymore. Things I haven't touched in years. Things I once thought I couldn't live without. There's a pair of leather gloves in a box under my bed. I bought them in the early 90s. Beautiful leather. Perfect stitching. My hands don't like them anymore. So why do I keep them? Because we're all terrible at letting go. We think we own things. But slowly, quietly, they start owning us. They take our space. They take our money. They take our attention. And before we realize it, they take pieces of our life. I learned that too late. So today, I want to tell you about 10 things you should sell, give away, or let go of before retirement, or before life starts shrinking around you. I'm not talking about memories. I'm not talking about love. I'm talking about the things that quietly make your world smaller. Let's start with the big one. Sell the house that became too big for your life. I had a friend named Arthur, strong man, worked with his hands his whole life. He lived in a big house, 4 bedrooms, basement, backyard, raised his kids there, filled it with noise and life. But by the time he was 85, he lived in 3 rooms, kitchen, bedroom, bathroom. The rest of the house was ghosts and dust. His kids said, "Dad, move closer to us. Life will be easier." Arthur said, "This is where your mother cooked. This is where you took your first steps. I can't leave." You know what happened? He fell down the stairs, broke his hip, spent his last year in a care facility. And the house, it sat empty, eating money, until the kids sold it after he was gone. Here's the truth. A house is wood and brick. The love that lived there lives in you. You don't betray your memories by living lighter. You honor them by enjoying the time you still have. Sell the need to keep rescuing your adult children. This one makes people angry. Good. Sit with that feeling. When my nephew was in his 30s, he came to me for money. Bad decisions. Bad luck. Fear. I helped him. Every time. And you know what I taught him? That someone else would always fix it. It wasn't until my wife said, "You're not helping him grow. You're teaching him to stay stuck." I told him calmly, "I love you, but this is the last time." He didn't speak to me for months. And then something strange happened. He figured it out. Years later, he thanked me. Your children have decades to build their lives. You don't. There are loans for houses, loans for cars, loans for education. There are no loans for your time. Sell the expensive toys that became expensive burdens. Everyone has one. The boat, the RV, the garage full of equipment. I knew a man who owned a beautiful boat, talked about it constantly. You know how often he used it? A few times a year. The rest of the time it sat there, asking for money, maintenance, worry. One day I asked him, when was the last time you actually enjoyed it? He had to think. That's when you know something owns you. When a possession takes more joy than it gives, let it go. You don't lose freedom. You get it back. Sell the second car that just sits there. If you're not commuting, if you're home most days, if that car hasn't moved in weeks, it's not transportation, it's decoration, and decoration that asks for insurance. Sell it. Buy memories instead of maintenance. Sell your work identity. This one nearly broke me. For decades, I was known by what I did. So was I. And then one day, I stopped. And I woke up thinking, what's the point of today? Your job was never who you were. It was just what you did. If you don't discover who you are beyond work, retirement will feel like disappearing while still breathing. Start now. Grow parts of yourself that don't need a title. Sell your grudges. This one is quiet, but it's heavy. I didn't speak to a relative of mine for almost 25 years. Do you want to know why? I honestly don't remember. Something about money. Something about respect. Something that felt life or death at the time and turned out to be nothing. He died before we spoke again. And the strange thing is, I didn't just lose him. I lost holidays, shared meals, conversations that never happened. I carried that weight for decades, for a reason I can't even name. That's the price of a grudge. So here's a hard question for you. Is this worth dying with? Because that's what you're doing. You're spending your life on it. Call them. Write the letter. Say the awkward thing. Pride is the most expensive thing you own, and it pays you nothing. Sell your fear of what people think. Most people aren't thinking about you nearly as much as you imagine. They're busy worrying about what you think of them. I wasted years performing for an audience that wasn't watching, trying to look respectable, trying to do the right thing, trying not to stand out. And you know what that got me? Nothing. Here's the truth. The opinions of strangers don't matter. The opinions of people who don't love you don't matter. And the people who do love you, they want you to be happy. They're not keeping score. Wear the strange shirt. Take the art class. Dance badly at the wedding. Stop living like you're on trial. Sell your need to control everything. Control feels like love, but it isn't. Control is fear pretending to be protection. I tried to manage everyone's choices, how they lived, what they decided, what mistakes they were allowed to make. And all it did was push people away. You can offer advice. You can share experience. But you cannot live someone else's life for them. The tighter you grip, the more slips through your fingers. Let go. Trust the people you raised. Trust the people you love. They will fall. They will get back up. That's how humans learn. Sell your perfectionism. I spent years worrying about tiny mistakes no one else noticed. A sentence that could have been better. A choice that wasn't optimal. A moment that didn't go perfectly. What a waste. Here's what I know now. Done is better than perfect. A life lived with mistakes is better than a life not lived at all. Perfectionism isn't high standards. It's fear wearing a nice suit. Take the suit off. Move forward. And now the last one. The most dangerous thing of all. Sell your someday. Someday I'll travel. Someday I'll have that conversation. Someday I'll slow down. Someday I'll say the words. You know what someday is. It's a thief. It steals your life while promising to give it back later. Someday is not on the calendar. It doesn't exist. There is only today, this moment, this breath. I waited too long for some things, and no amount of wisdom fixes that. Don't make the same mistake. Take a piece of paper. Write down 3 things you're saving for someday. Now cross out someday and write this month. Not this year. This month. I've buried people I loved. Friends. Family. Almost everyone I started this journey with is gone. And here's the truth I wish someone had told me sooner. There is never as much time as you think. Not for me. Not for you. Not for anyone. People don't regret working too little. They regret not calling, not going, not saying it, not choosing joy. Sell what makes your life smaller. Keep what makes it fuller. And do it now, not someday. Now, because at 1:02, I can tell you with absolute certainty, someday is the biggest lie we tell ourselves. Go live your life.